Hey everybody. Today we are going to go over how the fitting window works. I'm not going to be going over any fitting advice, at least not yet. That'll be in the future, more specific sections to come. But I'm just going to go over briefly what everything means in the fitting menu. The fitting window, I should say. Okay, we're just going to go over this, but first I'd like to say this. This right here, that channel, also mentioned right here. You guys can go ahead and join that. I'll be in there. You guys can ask me any questions. I'll have any information about any videos in here. I'll have a link to my YouTube page, and might be an easier way for you to keep track of the YouTube page instead of actually having to get on and, daily check it and everything else. So I'll have my latest upload here, information about upcoming events, and yeah, so go ahead and join that. Everybody's welcome, and hope to see you there. Okay, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to explain all of this information to you, and I'm going to show you how to add things to your ship. Okay, so we're in our trusty Dragoon. I still like the ship, it's pretty cool looking. And, okay, so, first things first, a capacitor. You've heard me mention this a lot, and I'll explain briefly what this is. The cap is, it's what your ship runs on. It's the power source of your ship. Any guns, anything you have on your ship is going to use power from that. So, you gotta, if you're doing certain things, you want to make sure you have as much cap as you possibly can without hindering your fit. So I'll go over that in later videos when we get into fittings. Offense. This will describe what your damage per second is for your turrets, drones, and missiles. Right now, since I don't have any guns on this ship or any missiles, it doesn't have anything registered for the DPS. But I do have drones right in here, and it's registering these drones right here. So every second I will be doing 84 damage worth, and they might not hit every second. It might take them 2 or 3 seconds, but it'll come out to 84 damage per second. That's kind of nice. It's an easy way to judge your total damage, and that'll be your total damage right there combined with everything. Defense. Okay. When you add things on, like for me, I'll be doing lows, and so I want to do armor tank. You want to get higher resistances, and also, if you can afford it, a higher buffer. Generally, when you're doing PvE work, you're going to be doing more of a resist fit, and PvP will be a mix of resist and buffer. Buffer is when you have pure HP points for your tank of whatever you have, and then a resist is when you have really high resistances to help resist the damage coming in instead of just pure HP. On the shields, it does recharge over time automatically. You don't need a booster for it, though you can get one if you are really wanting one. So it's not very fast, but if you're kind of not in combat, it'll definitely recharge your shields over time, which is nice. Armor will not do the same. You have to have an armor repair unit on there. And as for hull, all I gotta say is please don't ever try to hull take your ship. It's not worth it. It doesn't give you any wiggle room for mistakes, and it's kind of a fail. So yeah, let's see. I'm not gonna get into the advanced stuff with all the resist for now. Targeting. The scan resolution, that the higher that number is, the faster you lock onto things. So the higher that number is, the better off. On bigger ships, that's going to be a smaller number, I believe. Smaller ships is going to be a higher number. Radar strength, 10 points. If you are engaged by somebody and they have electronic countermeasures on you, it will pretty much make it so that you do not lock onto things, but they have to catch enough cycles to where it equals out your total points. or they might not. I don't remember. But you either have to get really lucky if you don't have enough points, or you have to have enough points to overcome that person's ship strength. So that's kind of cool. You don't really have to worry about it too much, but if you're going up against ECM ships, then you might want to get on some mods that can buff that. Signature radius. This is how big of a target you represent to anything. Rats, players, whatever else. And the smaller that number is, the harder it is you are going to be to hit. Same basic physics apply here. Bigger ships have bigger signature radiuses. But what you will find is that the signature radius tends to be a little bit smaller than a ship itself. If I go on to here, this ship is actually 285 meters long. Signature radius is only 66, so it's a relatively small target compared to its actual size. I don't think there are any mods that can modify this, except for like rigs, and some mods will make it bigger, but nothing will make it smaller, I believe. And max lock targets. This is the maximum amount of lock targets that your ship can handle. This is different from your skills. When you don't have the targeting skill trained, you can only lock a max of, I believe it's 2. If you can train that up to 4, you'll be able to lock 6 targets. If you can train it to 5, you'll be able to lock 7, and then after that there's an advanced targeting skill book. I don't remember the exact name of it, but that'll let you train extra so you can lock more past the normal 7 or 8, whatever it is. And then navigation. That right there is going to be your max speed without mods. This is your total weight. This is going to affect how fast it takes, or how long it takes you to speed up and slow down, and also to turn. Inertia modifier is basically your agility. It pretty much dictates how fast you can turn and pretty much how maneuverable your ship is. And your warp speed. This is how fast you will warp from station to gate, gate to gate, whatever. If you have to warp somewhere, that's your max AU speed. You don't start off at that speed. You have to gain speed up inside your warp. So if you're doing a warp that's 3 AU or shorter, you're not going to actually match that full speed, I don't believe. Actually you will, but not for very long, because that's 3 AU a second, and you might just barely hit 3 AU. Oh, fittings. This is actually really cool. If you have a ship or somebody links you a ship fitting, you can actually save it. Like if I were to save this right now, it'd just be bare ship, but just for the sake of doing it, I will do it. You just click that. Oh, it does include drones, so I do have my drones on here. You can name it whatever you want. This will not affect the ship name. This is just what will show up in your fittings. Personal corporation, always save it under your personal, unless somebody that runs a corporation says it's okay to save it in a corporation. If you need to, you can type in your own little description of what it's used for, whatever else you want on the description for that, just as little notes, and then just click save. From there you go to browse, and you have all these drop down menus. This is the destroyers. Let's go to destroyers, and there's a dragoon and tutorial ship, and there's our fitting. It'll show you everything that's on that thing, including ammunition charges that are in the cargo hold, not on the guns though. So do keep that in mind. If you have ammo charges, try to put them into your cargo before you save your fitting if you don't have any other ammo. And if you really want to, and take everything off your ship, you just click this button. I don't think it takes off rigs. It'll take off everything else, because rigs, you can't just put them back on. Once you take them off, they're destroyed and you have to buy new ones. So that'll take off everything except rigs. Right here are your 2 bays. This will show up for every single ship, although some ships don't have a drone bay, so it'll just say 0 out of 0. And every ship, I believe, has a cargo bay except for your pod. So all you have to do is just click this and it'll open it up, and then you can just go drag and drop things in there if you want to, or you can just go ahead and drag and drop things onto that cargo hold icon. And the same thing goes for the drones. You open that up, it shows all your drones, and you just drag and drop onto that if you want. To add things onto your ship, let's open up our items, and let's see, what can we put on this? Ooh, we went over damage controls already, so let's put on a damage control. And we went over afterburners too, so let's put on a 1MN afterburner. That's all you gotta do to put stuff on your ship. You just drag and drop it onto this area, or you can put it onto the specific slots. To remove it, either unfit or just drag and drop. Also, what you can also do is just right click and fit to active ship. You don't actually have to have this window open for you to just do that. You can just do that, and if there's an item you want on your ship and you know that there's room, just right click and fit to active ship. So let's restack this so it resorts it and categorizes it. It makes it easier to find things normally. There it is. Just right click and fit to active ship, and it's now on my ship. Okay, that was pretty much all I need to do for the fitting guide. Well, not fitting guide, but fitting window, and generally what it includes. Any questions, again, join this channel right here. It's open for everybody. Just all you have to do is in your chat window is click this icon right here and type EEPonEVE in there, all in Word. Just like that, and then you click join. When you do that, I'm already in it, so it won't let me rejoin it, but it'll pop you right in there. You can just hang out in there all you want, or you can close it, and if you were to close it out, instead of typing it back in again, it'll be saved right here under player channels. Yeah, it's under player channels. For me, it's under my channels because I created it. So all my different channels there. And yeah, so I hope this helped. Again, this isn't a fitting guide, it's just an explanation of the fitting window, and any questions, go ahead and ask. So in the next one, I think we might do some basic fittings and how to start off to get some ISK.